I would like to welcome you to this talk show and to this Water World Week of 2024. Since 2015, the focus of the Americas is organized by a union of organizations that are committed year after year to create an agenda that is attractive, that addresses the problems of the sector of water and sanitation in Latin America and the Caribbean. This year, the program is done in the week of Uniting Frontiers, where we will see how we create a sustainable, resilient, and inclusive future in Latin America and the Caribbean with the inclusive watersheds that are 55% of our water resources. We will see the challenges of this management related to financing, hydro diplomacy, and strong institutions. We will highlight the perspective of diverse communities, and we will present innovations in science and technology for a cooperation that is efficient. To address all of these points of the agenda that even you can find in the QR code more information, we will have the honor to have the participation of Thomas Inebrisky of the IDB and Eddie Paredes, that is a organization administration of the Amazonic Treaty. Thank you both for being here with us. We will have a conversation with some questions, and you can some react of the questions that we will make to have a conversation that is fluid as water. So, going to this part of the conversation, the first question is for Tomas. Tomas, so given the fact that we will give the framework to the topic of what we are going to talk today, why is it so important, water safety for development and well-being of Latin America and the Caribbean? Well, before I answer the question, thank you so much for the invitation. It is amazing to share this conversation with Edith and with you. Water safety is key because water is the engine or one of the main engines of the economies of Latin America. And Latin America is one of the main exporters of commodities that are agricolas for the world, great producer of energy. And I will give you more information, energy based in water. Um, and it gives the water a lot of services of ecosystems, biodiversity. Water is vital for the competitivity of the region. To give you some numbers, the context of the comparison advantage of the resources of water, Latin America has approximately 8% of the population, but 30% of the total of the sweet water, compared with Asia that has 60% of the population, but 25% of sweet water. The generation of energy in Latin America is 60% based on hydroelectricity, that's in water, and the world average is 15%. That is excellent because water is a free resource to generate electricity power. It is a resource that does not contaminate, pollute, and does not generate vulnerabilities for the climate change or caused because of the climate change or through changes in precipitations and droughts that put at risk or increase risks of the generation of this resource. And giving you a little bit of context of the impact of the water resources in the area, we have the watershed of the Amazonas, that is the biggest in the world, that concentrates approximately, or it's explaining, or it's in a geographical point of view, of 45% of the territory of South America. And as we all know, it is the lung of the world. The services that it gives is a regional good, public good, and we have to act to conserve it, and of course to explain way more for the watershed of the Amazon. And we also have the Pantanal, that is an area that is shared with Bolivia, Paraguay, and in other places. And it has marshland, a wetland that is so important. It is only 3% of its surface is considered a protected area. So going further and getting back to the water safety, it's very important, and we have to concentrate in the public policies that promote resilience of water as a resource. Thomas, thank you so much. And following up with this question for Thomas, in a region that, as he mentioned, has this comparison advantage that is so important, how do you explain the importance of the cross-border watersheds and the impact that these have for the region? Well, thank you so much. And before we start, I would like to thank for the invitation and the space. I'm glad that I share this space with you, Ana Maria and Tomas. As Tomas said, and just to say a few more things, numbers for the region. Definitely, it is a region that has more than 7.9 million square kilometers. That is 50% of the region of South America. It has the tropical forest that is the biggest of the world, and it has some of the countries that are mega diverse, and also it has 50 million people. So this lookout of a region that is so important from the environmental, social, and economical, it has to really move us to looking for visions that are integrated, regional, and in common of an integrated management of the resources. What is so important, the management of the watersheds that are cross-border, and what is the impact? To have regional visions, public policies that are concentrated from the highest political levels, give the human resources integrated management the strength to have a lookout, to have projects that are regional water, as it is the risk of of climate change. It doesn't seem barriers. Water is 100% shared, and when we talk about this topic about water resources, what happens up goes down, and what goes down goes up. So if it's polluted in the lower part, it influences also in the region and in all of the countries that are considering it. That's why it's so important to have it managed from a regional point of view, integrated point of view, and from a multi-actor point of view, and from several fronts. It includes several sectors, and also we have to work with the communities, local communities that inhabit it and for which the resource is vital. It's a daily life a resource. This regional lookout, and with policies and with the support from the highest levels, with the OLCA, the eight presenters of the countries have a resource in a resolution of working together, observation, and having and maintaining the resources. And this resource integrated force makes the technical teams to be stronger and to generate policies and regional programs and policies to generate the management of the technical teams in the countries and the different levels, community levels, local, national. And now we have the luck to share from a regional point of view. Going and considering to what Edith was saying about the integrated comprehensive management, what is the role of the international cooperation? What are we doing in the IDB? Well, the role is fundamental. Once again, to give you some numbers of the challenges that we have going forward in the cooperation, and the amount of cross-border watersheds are many, and how much. Well, if I consider is the number 38 in South America, 29 in Central America, so imagine the amount of cross-border watersheds and the challenge going further. In that sense, the IDB is working every time more with stronger, with a priority area with the management of the watersheds, in to manage the hydric resources in the cross-border resources, and we work in four areas. I did already mention many of them. One is the strengthening, and this probably is the most important thing, the creation and strengthening of institutions and the governance, the capability, technical capability of the people that are working in these institutions. The use every time has to be more important of science and technology of data, and also the use of finance instruments that are new. And I would like to tell you that the IDB launched an initiative a few months ago that it's called Amazony for Always, Forever, and it has the goal to define integrated programs in the Amazon and to develop pilots, innovation, and also to attract donors, coordinate those donors to have more impact in the local economy, in the people with the economy based in nature. Edith, Thomas mentioned the importance of governance, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about the opportunities that there is for the strengthening of this governance in terms of water within the Amazon region, as Thomas mentioned, and within the ODCA, Amazonic Treaty Cooperation, we have to strengthen in technology, sharing information, and this is not important for other countries. It is important for them to unite. So the fact that we have a mandate and something that the presidents and the ministers gave us for the ministers of foreign affairs gave us in 2023, it's a resource because we have the field where we have to work in this integrated management, comprehensive management on the local level. The challenges are big, and I like to thank the space for the IDB with the cooperation that is supporting us in different sectors with different strategies. And the governance has to be together as an institution and as a country. We have to internalize, and we have internalized that we were not going to get far. If we're together, then we are going to be able to get far and to comply with or achieve greater goals. So we still have many challenges going forward, but it is not only the challenge of getting sources of financing for this, because if we do not start from the design of the projects together in collaboration, then the institutions that support in a certain way the technical or financial support are putting out the fire or trying to work in recovery. If we work from the previous states in preparation, in training, in prevention, also in an integrated management of the water resources with a process of awareness and sensibilization in the communities in all of the countries, to within all of the levels, in the lower part, in the upper part, and all the government bodies, because the governance of water starts in the communities. So we have to work from there, including the active participation of all of the actors that are part of this chain and are part of the water management for all of the resources, right? So that all of these initiatives have or reflect the needs and the expectations that the governance of the hydric resources management has, and we can advance in our goals that we have to comply with or accomplish, right? An important thing of the governance is that we have created the network of authorities of water in the Amazon that has a working plan, that has base tools in the regional area, and has to be strengthened. We have to start working, as we mentioned, Thomas and I, in technical training, and we have also a regional observational Amazonic area that has to be real in a platform where the decision makers have the real information, updated information, more precise as possible according to the meteorological point of view with a monitoring network so that not only the decision makers that are have this tool that is so important, but the civil society has information to this data that should be public and from there can link for building an integrated management of water resources with the responsibility of the different areas. Very interesting. Well, we in the bank have a strategy, new strategy, Leader Pack Plus. So, what is the role that innovation is gonna have in management of cross-border watersheds? Well, I would like to start answering by saying that we have good news according to management of water resources associated to the availability of data, innovation, and it just told us and shared initiatives that are so important that she's implementing. In the week, we are seeing several applications based on data, and the cost has decreased of generating data, creating platforms that are available for all of us, that are open source, that are for us, and we have a great opportunity that we have to take advantage of. Now, in innovation, I would like to mention the need to work in financial innovation way more in financial instruments. Some of them are related with insurance. We have to develop the market of insurance against natural disasters. We have to implement or develop the application of new instruments as it can be impact bonus or attract more investors that are interested in social impact, and that is considered even with water swaps or interchanges of debt. The IDB has started considering these topics and has started doing this with a lot of success, attracting private investment through public-private institutions in non-traditional sectors like management of protected areas, forests. Also, the IDB has important experiences, particularly in Brazil. Now, you mentioned the IDB Impact Plus. IDB has a new impact strategy. It has the new name in Bid Impact Plus, IDB Impact Plus, and the water is going to continue. The sector of water is going to continue being a fundamental pillar into sharing with you that the first project of the IDB was in the water sector, the financing of a treatment plant of water in Arequipa in Peru, and we have more than 60 years of experience in the sector. We want to have at least 60 more and way more. But the truth is that that is gonna continue being one of the fundamental pillars, because as water, as we mentioned previously, generates economic growth, and it is related with the probability of mitigation and adaptation to climate change and promotion of inclusion and equality. And to end this answer that I wanted to mention that is related with availability of data, there's a platform that we have that you have been very involved. It is a platform of IOs and urban areas in recovery, and it has a lot of success cases, learned lessons. And if you can access, I really recommend it because it's very, very interesting. Perfect. Thank you so much. That information, you will find it in the chat of this live and our social media. So going to the last question, right, Edith, considering something that you mentioned twice, that is important to include the community actively in these processes. Can you tell us a little bit about this topic a little bit more? Yes, as I mentioned, governance of water starts by the people that inhabit the areas. When we speak with the people that are there, you are aware and are more sensibilized that for them and for all of us, it's life, it's the basis. And for the people that inhabit in this region where the water and then the forest is their source of life and the sustainable way for surviving, then I think it's very important to consider. And also, it has been one of the mandates that the OCTA has had with the Declaration of Belém, and is the governance and the linking of the indigenous populations and the communities, local communities and tribal communities, and to give a voice to the agenda of the work within the Amazon, a voice and a face. That with this, we did not have this protagonism. So it is two important data that I would like to share. And let me tell you why. Because as Thomas was mentioning, not all of this topic of the new technologies and innovation is that, but it's a mass that it's very important. That is the youth, to generate a lot of changes and to position and to be able to work with many of the topics and the region. The integrated management of the water resources is not outside. And right now in the world, in the region, Amazon region, after a study that we did with CEPAL, the youth is the greatest amount of the population in the Amazon region, and where I think that we can have, if they get involved, ambassadors in a very important topic from the community, so that we can really look for generating and designing strategies, programs, and projects with the needs and expectations within the community. But also, I would like to tell you, in all of the different levels, let's not forget that we are close to not having time to comply with the 2030 agenda. It is an agenda that it is for all of us. It's a global agenda. It is an agenda that still has a lot of pending things to do, things to comply with. And we said it, let's not forget anyone. So the integrated management of the water resources should be part of this without leaving anyone behind, including all of the actors of the chain that have to be included for the management to be a success and the governance to be sustained. Thank you so much both for your reflections, for sharing with us all of these experiences. I would like to thank the audience that are here, the people that are connected virtually. Let me remind you that all of the information is going to be in the social media and our virtual stand in the name of the IDB. And let's continue working and collaborating, all of us, for a future where we can have a Latin American Caribbean united by water. Thank you so much.